From Forex Traders Daily, this is your daily analysis with Ross Mullins, live from Richmond, Virginia.
Hello everyone, this is today's video analysis for April 6, 2016. In just a moment we'll be taking a look at the AUDUSD, the Australian versus the US dollar, for today's trade analysis. But first I just want to recap a couple of the trade suggestions made over the past few days in the live trade room and here in the morning analysis videos. First off, starting here on the USDCHF, the US dollar versus the Swiss Franc, we can see that the market has been at the bottom of what we're calling a trend channel here on the chart. The two red trend lines, you see the top red trend line recognizing the last three resistance highs coming down. You see the bottom red trend line capping the bottom of the channel down here along these lows, 1, 2, and now the third time. So since we're at the very bottom of the channel, there's this anticipation that we may be looking for support and potential reversal here for the US franc. So we have been concentrating over the past 2 or 3 days on buying into support. The 95, 85, 95, 50 level is the green shaded area at the very bottom of the chart. So we've been buying down there. We've seen profit. You can see down at the very bottom of the chart, 95.70 is the current entry I have. 30 pips of profit. Locked in. Closed some profit as well. So I can't lose on the trade at this point, but definitely buying from that support zone down there at the very bottom of the chart. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days at least have found support there. So no reason to go short, but looking to buy into that support zone. Just the opposite of that is the euro dollar. We've been selling underneath the 114 level. We've taken a number of different sells in and out and in and out a couple of different times all week long, selling underneath 114. My current entry is about 113.82 or so. That's the current entry I have. It took me out of some other trades that I was in with profit and at break even. So I'm back into it now. Again, 30 pips of profit. A little while ago, saw about 50 as it touched down into the orange shaded area just underneath the green zone into the 113.25 or so level. So I closed some of the profit then with about 50 pips and now sitting with the remaining about 30. So a continuation lower is definitely what we'd like to see here for the euro dollar. And just to take note of this before we continue on to the Australian dollar, we do have some highly anticipated information being released later on today. FOMC meeting minutes at 2 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. That could be very interesting for the market. We've seen the Fed and the FOMC, the last announcement we had from the FOMC, the dovish comments that they've made have caused a sell-off of the U.S. dollar. If they change that tone in any way to more hawkish than dovish, we could see a good, surge or boost for the U.S. dollar. If they're dovish again and very cautious, we might see another sell-off and a turn back above these resistance or below support levels. So definitely watching those comments later on today and maybe even not even entering any new trades prior to that data later on today. Okay, now let's move on over to the AUD-USD, Australian versus the US dollar. The first thing I want to do, starting here on the daily time frame, is look left. You look all the way to the left-hand side. You see this black box over here on the left. Most importantly is where the supports line up along that black box. You see support here, 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 and then finally it broke underneath it and started the downward slide. So important is the supports you see there around the pink shaded area, and 75.80 to 76.05 is that pink zone. Now that you see that on the left hand side, let's zoom on over here and now take a look at where the current market is sitting just underneath that same pink shaded area, the 75.80 level today. We've seen a pretty decent sell-off for the Australian dollar. It capped out resistance highs into the 7,700 level. It bounced around in there for a little while. Now we're back underneath it. So since we've had such a bearish sentiment, since we're moving back down again, the potential for reversal. Remember, if we're going to see reversal for this pair, we need to see a change of the price pattern. The change of the price pattern would be lower highs and lower lows. Well, we don't really significantly have a new lower high yet. That's what we're looking for. Now, it's a possibility that we look for a new lower high here at the pink shaded area, 75.80, 76.05. It's also a possibility that we look for the market to re-challenge the highest highs up here into the mid to upper 7600s. So one of these two, the pink or the green, will likely be the spot that we look for our next resistance, targeting the next support, which is the orange shaded area. Now, if you're a buyer, if you say, that's nuts, let's buy this currency pair, that's okay too. If you want to buy it, I would say you want to wait for it to reach all the way down here towards the orange zone, 74.90, 74.65 or so. So if you're a buyer, that's what you're looking at. If you're a seller, looking for continued clues of resistance, reversal, and the continuation of the current momentum we've been in for the past 3 days, then you're looking to sell, and I think you would probably do that closer to the 75.80 level. Let's take it on down to the 4-hour time frame, and as we get down here, we see it came pretty close to it. Didn't quite reach all the way to 75.80, but I think that's where the most likely scenario would be for me to go short here for the Australian dollar, would be back closer as possible to 75.80, 7600. Then we look to target back down here towards the orange zone. You can see the resistance back here on the left, the support here. So that's where I'm looking for. I'm looking for it to reach back towards that pink shaded area. Just zoom it back in here one time. If we do that, we can take some Fibonacci from the highest high down to the current low. Current low puts the 382. Right there smack in the middle of the pink zone as well. Just of the high down to the current low. 382 right smack in the middle of the pink zone. That gives us a little bit more information about potential resistance. We've already seen the market holding at the 236 fib at 75.60. So it may not make it back up here to the pink zone. Of course, the FOMC today will likely have some effect on this pair as well. Dovish comments will send this back higher again, breaking through the pink zone, likely challenging back to the green zone. Positive news, hawkish comments from the Fed later on, or FOMC later on today, will likely see this continue to be bearish for the Australian dollar for the next few days. So sellers are concentrating on the pink zone close to 7,600. Buyers, if that's the direction you want to take, and if we get those dovish comments from the FOMC, we'll be looking for the market to turn around, maybe break back above this pink shaded area for some upside, or touching the orange zone likely becomes a scenario that we would look to buy for the Australian dollar over the next few days.
From Forex Traders Daily, this has been your daily analysis with Ross Mullins. If you would like to get Ross's analysis on all the currency pairs he's watching and all the trades he takes today, join him in his live trade room by clicking on the link below. Please leave any comments you have about today's video in the comments section below.